So right now we are recording with the Nikon D5300, which you guys have watched most of my videos recorded with. It is good enough for YouTube and 1080p is also fine at the moment. But now let's switch to this new camera that I got recently. It is the Fujifilm X-T3 with this amazing 16 to 55mm f2.8 red badge XF lens. And how awesome does this look now? This is being recorded in DCI 4K, and I am sure that even if you are on mobile, you must be able to see a very noticeable difference in quality. Because more than recording in 4K, I was concerned about the quality in 1080p. Because there's a big difference between these two cameras even at 1080p. So this video is just to share this huge upgrade with you guys because I am very excited and I just wanted to share what this camera will allow me to do. I'll also make at least one more video about this camera. So if you are watching this and you aren't subscribed, make sure that you do that. So the Nikon D5300 is still a good stills camera. But the issue with these cameras, especially with entry-level Nikon cameras, is that they are made primarily for stills shooting, with the added ability to record video. So as a result, these DSLRs are not that great for making videos. Now Canon has their dual pixel autofocus in their DSLR's live view, and now those cameras are actually really great for someone starting out on YouTube. But when I bought this camera in 2016, the Canon competition only shot at 30 fps, which was a deal breaker. So this camera has what is called a contrast detection autofocusing system. And even though some high-end cameras use this kind of method, the problem is that whenever you focus on something, it has to move the focusing point back and forth before calculating the correct point to focus on, which gives it this really bad effect in video. With the phase detection system in the X-T3, it can focus without that refocusing effect because it gets to the correct point on the first try. On this new camera, we have edge-to-edge phase detection autofocus, and it has excellent face and eye tracking. So I'll be able to use autofocus while recording shots like this one, and this is also going to save a lot of time when recording shots where I am talking like this. Because you just have to press the record button, get in front of the camera, and it's going to take care of everything. And you also don't have to have your face in a fixed position. You can go back and forward and this will have you in focus. Setting the focus manually without having the actual subject in front was just such a big pain in the first letter of my name. The general focusing we have here is also so good that I can just turn the continuous autofocusing on and it will take care of parts it has to keep focus on, which is going to save so much of my time. And I can also show the products on screen while filming like this. And when I have to manually focus, the X-T3 offers excellent manual focusing assists like focus peaking, and it also has zebras for checking blown up highlights. The X-T3 also has really great controls, and you can change most of the settings with a single touch on one of the dials, which is much better than having to press a combination of buttons on other cameras. I was also stuck with the 35mm focal length of the prime lens that I used with the Nikon camera. The biggest issue with this lens was that whenever I needed to adjust the framing of my B-roll shots, I would have to lift my heavy tripod, head and camera combo. But now we have this amazing 16 to 55 f2.8 lens. I can take wide angle shots like this one at 16mm, and we have the telephoto range for close-up shots of products. But to take this to a next level, I also got a macro extension tube for this lens, and what this essentially allows me to do is turn this lens into a macro lens, which will let me get very close-up shots on things, so I should be able to do most of the stuff I would ever want to do with a single lens setup only. It is Fuji's professional lens and it weighs a lot and it costs almost as much as the camera, but Fuji's prime lenses are also very expensive, so while my Nikon lens cost 10,000 rupees, Fuji's 35mm prime lenses start at 40 to 50,000. So I just got this lens because it has prime lens-like quality throughout its zoom range. Links to all this stuff will be in the video description below. Shooting in 4K also means that I can reframe the shots like this while filming, and while it would make the video lose some quality, people watching at 1440p and below are not going to be able to notice it at all, and even people watching at 4K should not see a noticeable difference in quality. And this is the reason why top channels in tech use RED cameras, because they can do this reframing in 4K without losing quality. More pixels also means that applying warp stabilizer in Premiere will not decrease the quality by much. Now this camera has actually one disadvantage compared to my Nikon camera, And that is that the Nikon has a fully articulating screen, which is really great for recording video. But the X-T3 has this weird three-way tilting screen that doesn't flip out, meaning that I won't be able to see myself while recording parts like this, so I may have to get an external monitor for this. But the autofocus and face detection on this camera is just so good that I should be able to record myself without needing to check whether I am in focus or not. It also has a tele light in the front which tells me whether it is recording or not, so that is pretty convenient, and I won't have to keep this small digital clock to keep a track of the 30-minute mark where these cameras stop recording at. The lavalier microphone that I use is from the Rode Wireless Filmmaker kit, which costs around 30,000 rupees. But I never use the wireless part of it, which is half of its price, because the preamps for recording audio on the Nikon camera are not that great. But on the X-T3, the preamps are pretty usable, so if I wanted to record into the camera directly, I won't need to copy files from my Zoom H1 and sync them in post separately, which is going to save a lot of time. And this is actually how the internal microphone on the X-T3 sounds. It is really amazing for an inbuilt microphone, and if distance and echo was not an issue, I think that this is very usable for video too. This is how the preamp on X-T3 sounds. This is being recorded directly into X-T3 with my Rode microphone. And lastly, this camera looks so amazing. It looks like one of those vintage cameras, but it can actually record in 4K in 60 frames per second, which makes it the most capable video camera with an APS-C sized sensor. It has an amazing backside illuminated X-trans sensor, and the color science of Fuji is also really great. You can also record at 120 frames per second in 1080p, which is something that I will experiment with. And it also has some other very cool features like dual SD card slots, a headphone jack, ability to be charged by USB-C, F-log recording, amongst many other features that I will experiment with. And it is of course the best hybrid camera on the market at the moment. So this combination along with the accessories that you will need costs around 2 lakh rupees, and that is why I wasn't upgrading to this for so long, because it is a big investment. The camera I had finalized earlier was the Panasonic GH5S, and Sony a7 III was also a consideration, and I'll make a video on why I chose the X-T3 over those cameras. So make sure that you have pressed the notification bell icon if you're interested in that. The gear that you use doesn't determine the quality of the content you make, but it does have a big impact on how fast and easily you are able to create those videos. And there are some things that you just can't do without having the features required on your camera. It's not easy for me to find time to make as many videos as I want for this channel, because I am studying law and I am also working at my company. So this upgrade is going to eliminate a lot of annoyances and struggles I had to have with my D5300. So I am really excited about the content that I'll be able to make for you guys. So thanks for watching this video. We have crossed the 10,000 subscribers mark, which is a big deal for me because I had less than 1,000 subscribers less than a year ago. So a big thanks to all of you for being here. We have just started and let's see how far we can go now.